Hello everyone and welcome back to episode 11 of our slow and immersive playthrough as Venezuela in Victoria 3 post patch 1.5 release in the Colossus of the South DLC. Let's go ahead and unpause. So speed, we've made it to 903 last time. Actually, let's decrease speed to 1. We're turned the century. We've gone from universal suffrage back to a technocracy. We do now have several movements actually to enact landed voting, National Guard, preserve racial segregation, as we are currently passing through cultural exclusion. We have enact cultural exclusion as a movement, which has medium support. By enlistment officers has been unlocked. Officers built to attract recruits help immensely with bolstering the nation's military manpower, plus 20% conscriptable battalions. Okay, let's see. National Guard has medium as opposed to supported. All sorts of things are happening in our politics. All sorts of odd things. So instead of guaranteed liberties, people want National Guard. Interesting. Let's see. But so far, guys, we have grown our economy. It fits and bounds with several. We kind of had 2 civil wars here. Then we had a few dips. Latest dip, economic crash, was caused by us trying to establish a lot of trade routes, and which cost us about 200 bureaucracy, and we went into the negative 200s. So we're building up our government administration buildings to support that. Many of these are unprofitable, but I'm trying to test the fact that okay, if we do start exporting these to various places, yes, we lose money, I guess, on tariffs, but it's a tiny amount. But does that help our industry, our local domestic industry? Because we've recently upgraded to basically automatic irrigation. So we're now using a lot of motors, hopefully producing a lot of fruit and all sorts of things very efficiently and very cheaply. If we can export them and create profitable trade routes over time, then maybe it will be a good thing. Maybe it will be worth that bureaucracy investment. And we're now we've cut down our deficit. We ran a pretty big deficit of about 10,000, 10, 8,000, 7,000 for a number of years. But we've now, mainly because we had a lot of tax waste, like 40% tax waste. We're now building up our government administration. We're going to build 1 more building and then 1 more after that. So it should be about plus 50 net. Unfortunately, our standard of living took a hit. We were almost at 14. We're doing really well. And then the crash happened. Hopefully we're building that up again. Oh, that has resulted in a lot of radicals. Okay, but everything is cheap. Look, our lowest strat is struggling. They used to be almost at 12. Ouch. That was painful. Okay, hopefully they will build that back up. But it seems like, yeah, it takes a second to for them to go down in standard of living, and takes ages for them to rise back up. So let's go ahead and speed this up to speed 5 and just see what actually happens to our economy. Now we have cultural exclusion. Okay, political movements disbanded. 50 authority, minus 5% radicals. Okay. Shows a cultural trait within primary cultures in their country. Okay, if one cultural trait is shared, they will not be discriminated against. Enact landed voting, and that's landowners and the Catholic Church. Oh. Enact restricted child labor. Unfortunately, as we went to technocracy, we have Eustachio Urbanea stuck as our chief executive, which we kind of don't want, but I do not know a way to get rid of him. Hopefully he will drink himself to death soon. He's 53 years old. And we get perhaps an industrialist or one of the intelligentsia members to, in power. All these interest groups have lost political clout over time. Yeah, it's pretty much all held by industrialists and intelligentsia. We're running even a small surplus already. So that's good. Okay, we're now up to positive bureaucracy territory. Just 1 more administration building. Dye works accident. Several workers died today at the Zulia Dye Works when an industrial-sized tub of hot dye accidentally spilled out over the workshop floor and the unsuspecting workers. We shall all die sooner or later. Oh. They shall not have died in vain. Oh, we shall all die sooner or later. We're run by industrialists with little regard for workers at the moment. But what about laws? No workers' rights, child labor allowed. Restricted child labor. 50% dependents income. Max education. Institution. Industrialists oppose this change. Trade unions and landowners are in favor. We do have a movement, it seems, so let's go ahead and enact. Yeah, they have very high support. Enact restrict child labor. It's actually an industrialist that's sponsoring this agitator in Venezuela. Okay. Let's go ahead and do that. We'll keep our taxes high for a little bit just to pay down this deficit. Alright. We are powering ahead of our tax. We have built up our university to level 10, for those of you who haven't watched previous episodes. So trying to kind of power our way through technology and, yeah, substitute labor, substitute capital for labor, right? And upskill our labor and try to increase our standard of living. Hopefully that goes back to about 14 again. Yep. That hopefully we get more loyalists that way. Okay, we're making a good surplus now. Paying off our debt. Oil discovered in Miranda now as well. Excellent. I mean, that means we have rubber and we have oil. It means we can build motor industries. Right? And what do motor industries actually let us do? It means in urban centers, get public motor carriages, right? And that gives a lot more transport, right? That's one place to use automobiles. Produced in motor industries and used in urban centers. Restricted child labor has progressed to the review phase. Okay. Electric streetlights just produce much more services. So instead of coal. Okay. And we do have very cheap services now in Zulia, where we have a power plant. Transportation. More transportation. Yeah, so I mean, I guess producing automobiles. And I'm not sure that that's necessarily like a great thing in and of itself. What is it going to let us do? Just produce more transportation without the need for railways rather. Right. Government run. Could be publicly traded. Spain here, Gibraltar. In case. Spain, however, is a major power, rank 7, 52 million GDP, 26 million people. Literacy of 57.7. Interesting. I could say market. Highlights. Venezuela market monthly price report. Price for fish has gone up. Price for oil has gone up. Inefficient agriculture. Oh. Follow their advices. Industrialists complaining about subsistence farms again. Your unproductive trade routes. But regardless, even though we do export it, right, it does... Price impact on sugar in Venezuela market, it is up, so it... Sure, they're unproductive from a tariff standpoint, but they do raise... Oh, here. Total usage is 0, so we're not... Trade quantity 5, convoy multiplier times 1, land trade capacity minus 160, passing through 7 sea nodes for each sea node after the first. Okay, So maybe, you know, as we export these goods, those other markets will build up local industries that make use of our sugar and fruit. That's what I'm kind of hoping to achieve. Okay, GDP is increasing finally. Let's go ahead and power through. Get a little bit more bureaucracy. Miranda. We should be fine with bureaucracy for now. State of America's had a conquer state diplomatic play. Okay. We are building motor industries in Zulia because we need more motors for our economy. Felix von Baden has been sent into exile by Austria. Oh, we have Portugal here. Sokoto, British Congo. France. Here on our doorstep. We now have restricted child labor. No child is permitted on the factory floor. Okay, that should be lower mortality. More income, max education institution. Okay, let's get education institution up. Great King, Australia. 29th in the world. We're far away from being a major power. We're pretty close on actually becoming an insignificant power. Yeah, I guess pretty much everyone has done better than us. So we've been going in kind of all sorts of weird ways. I mean, we're same population as Chile, but we do have higher GDP than them at least. Not sure how they manage it. Okay, Argentina, for example, double the population, same GDP. Okay, we did better than Argentina. Peru, Bolivia, though, is 10 million GDP with 2, yeah, well, roughly the same, right? GDP per capita 1.9, we're at 2.3, we're actually doing better. Doing better than Brazil, 2.3. Brazil has 10 million population. Impoverished, 17 million GDP, 1.6 per person. Wow, they had a massive crash there. Colombia, our closest neighbor, is at 9 million GDP. Per capita, yeah, they're doing about as well as we are, but they're having 70% literacy. Yeah, they're definitely ahead of us. Minor power, they're at 20 prestige. I guess some of that comes from the military, right? Let's see, where does our prestige come from? Current prestige 127. Kingdom, gross domestic product, army power, projection, all sorts of, yeah, I guess it's really army, navy, gross domestic product. They have 19 flotillas. We don't really need, I guess, neither army nor a navy. But not that that has resulted in higher GDP, right? They're able to maintain that army and navy and have, you know, good, decent GDP growth. How many people? They have 4 million people. I guess it's, yeah, same as Chile. I guess playing these minor nations, I think the biggest constraint by far is population. I'm not 100% sure what is kind of the best way to navigate it. Let's keep playing. Let's finish this playthrough and we'll see. Kind of draw conclusions at that point. The play for power. Jose Manuel Hernandez, leader of the petite bourgeoisie, has made a remarkable play for power in the capital in order to secure a spot for petite bourgeoisie within the government. However, it's not entirely clear if they should be rewarded for their novel tactics. Not all is fair in love and war. Jose Manuel Hernandez shall be recognized for this. Hernandez, reckless, persistent, petite bourgeoisie. Okay, what is that? Okay, fine. Does that mean he becomes the leader of petite bourgeoisie? Historical Jose Manuel Hernandez. Yeah. Oh, yeah, population growth is also very important. I feel like having the Catholic Church on your side and kind of liberalizing a bit later These liberal... Seems like everyone wants to progress to more liberal policies, but it actually doesn't really pay. It only pays to do so closer to like 1900s maybe. But at the start, I think Catholic Church, to be honest, is by far the best interest group because it gives you that population growth rate, gives you public schools. Sorry, not public schools. Church schools and charity hospitals. Having like landed vote 600, getting a lot of radicals here. We're not going to give in. Definitely not to Catholic Church. National Guard as opposed to guaranteed liberties. What are you guys talking about? Honestly. Okay. Population again increasing. Okay, yeah, we have a lot of excess. Just need to just decrease our taxes, for example. Not quite ready to do that though. Pay off this debt because we're paying 1.6 thousand in interest. Wind power. Power through motor industries. Engine, diesel engines. Oil has been more oil we've discovered. More oil. How can we make use of our oil? Oil rigs, say, produces oil. Whaling stations and oil rigs used in food industries, furniture, used everywhere. But okay, well, let's say maize farms. We need not chemical fertilizers, right? Tractors. You know, later on, yeah, compression ignition, but it's much later. Services are cheap, transportation is cheap. Transportation is expensive in Zulia. Transportation in Bolivar. Yeah, I guess if we did build automobiles, here we need infrastructure in Bolivar, kind of desperately. Right, but once you have enough infrastructure, you don't need actually that many railways. You need have your urban centers getting public motor carriages, and that will give you plus 25% transportation. You need to first have a lot of demand for transportation, which we don't have at the moment. Go ahead and keep powering through, see if we can... anything else we can do. Urban centers, furniture manufactories. And we can always make more people into capitalists, sure. Do we want to do that right now though? Not really. Paying down our debt. Not really sure. Do we need to build anything? Not really. What we need is technological progress. We need mechanized farming, and then we need electrical capacitors to electrify our industry. Now later on we could actually build power plants in Miranda as well. Venezuela Delgado has appeared in Venezuela. He also had movement to enact industry banned. What? No migration controls. What? And then later on we can even build power plants in Bolivar to electrify everything. We actually have one university here as well. Wow, okay. We do want to pay down our debt and reduce taxes. That's what I want to do. So that our lower strata can in fertile grounds. Finding both the Venezuelan public and supposed political allies unreceptive to his ideas, frustrated, Venceslau Delgado has decided to retire from the realm of politics, opting instead to spend the rest of his days penning embittered reflections on what could have been. Let him tell his ideas in peace, away from Caracas. Lightly informed his presence in Venezuela is no longer wanted. Yeah, -1 to rural folk. Yeah. Just exile him. We don't need rural folk. We're run by intelligentsia and industrialists. Okay, education to level 4. Perfect. Here we are. Generating 85 innovation. No, it could be up to 130. So these are way, like, well ahead in literacy. That's another thing, that from the start of the game, you don't actually need, it seems like, to have that many pops being literate, as a small nation at least, because, you know, all that lets you do is, I guess, increases your innovation cap, direct innovation cap, and what else does it do? I mean, it lets people, you know, upskill easier, but we've never had a problem with that, to be really honest. Yeah, paper mills, for example. We do need as much paper as we can have, publicly traded. Massive industry of 200. Lithuanian mass immigration, okay. Large numbers of Lithuanian people have begun migrating from Russia to Miranda and the surrounding states. Let's have a look at Miranda and our population here. Okay, pop growth, migration plus 28,000. Okay, that's good. What does that mean? Like, we need to, let's remove all, like, cultural barriers. Atheist. Ooh, interesting. 66% Catholic, 33% atheist. Venezuela, North Andean after Carabeno. Show more. Circassian, 3,000. Lithuanian, 1,000. So there's a technocracy. We have guaranteed liberties, state atheism. Can we get multiculturalism? Human rights we need. Everyone is opposed to it though. Wow. Even intelligentsia. Interesting. No social security, poor laws. Industrialists, landowners endorse this. Migration controls. No migration controls. Right. Industrialists endorses, trade unions, rural folk oppose this. It's kind of even. Yeah, not much else for us to pass. Commercialized agriculture, perhaps. What does that do? Unlocks multiple new production methods. 25% political strength of farmers. Okay, and homestead. Let's have a look at, for example, our maize farms. How would that change? Maize farms, homesteading, right? To 50 farmers and to 50 aristocrats. Worker cooperative. Is that what it would be? Yeah, government run, collectivized. So this would have 150 bureaucrats. Or worker cooperatives, more farmers. Farmers are rural folk, and bureaucrats are intelligentsia. Interesting. So if we did have commercialized agriculture, unlocks multiple new production methods. This allows multiple production methods. It's allowed by traditionalism. Agriculture is a business like any other, subject to market forces and owned by capital. Homesteading. Farmers lay claim to plots of land which they work alongside their hired laborers. Homesteading. 25% political strength of farmers. Who's opposed to this? Rural folk. But hey, go ahead and enact this. Just continue our experiment. Speed up. We have motor industries now. Rubber discovered in Miranda as well. Okay, we're actually turning out to be a pretty resource-rich nation. Let's go ahead and build these motor industries. That will be a boost. Privately owned, publicly traded. We need electric engines and diesel engines. Rubber rush. Rubber has been successfully grown in Miranda. The fragile nature of these trees and their difficult to meet conditions make their achievement exceptionally important. This place seems to be most effective. Rubber discovered. Okay, nice. More motors. More motors for Venezuela. Exactly what we need. Total top-down management. The industrialists have taken an interest in commercialized agriculture. Many industry leaders hope to secure the entire supply chain for their companies. Gentlemen, okay, middle managers will be a thing of the past. Get 15% enactment chance. Pan-nationalism unlocked. The notions of nationalism are in general the idea of people who speak the same language are the same people. But what of those who almost speak the same language as us? People see them as our cousins, but there's a new school of thought that they are really our long-lost brothers, and we should be united into a great whole. Together we'll be stronger and able to protect our people. 10% authority. Okay. Okay. Nice. So we have motor industries. Okay, we can even go ahead. Reduce taxes for everybody. Might still pay off a little of our debt. Yeah, let's hopefully increase standard of living for everybody. Powering ahead. We are going to need a little more bureaucracy pretty soon, seems like. Let's go ahead and actually put in another government administration in Miranda. Look at the buildings. Yeah, I guess let's build power plants and then government administration. Let's just keep tragedy in the comments. With the debate about the enactment of commercialized agriculture looming large in Miranda, a local dispute between a San Carlos landowner and several farmers has come to bloodshed. Faced with the possibility of their common grazing lands being bought up and closed off, one particularly irate farmer responded by gunning down the landowner in a fit of rage. Barbarous. This is the face of those who oppose the reform. Indeed. Indeed. So we have Zulia. Yeah, let's keep. Shipyards are hiring. Reinforced wooden ships. Oh, at least now we're privately owned. So instead of shopkeepers, we have capitalists. But the thing is, no one really needs these clippers. We just don't need them. Yeah, odd. No one is even employed in here. Okay, revenue continues to rise, even though we dropped our taxes. Perfect. GDP is soaring again. Standard of living is soaring. Yeah, that means population is coming up. Okay, quite a few radicals. Because we do have commercialized. Preserve homesteading. Enact no migration controls. Yeah, we can do that later. Support is low though. We do actually even have peasants in Zulia. But interestingly, so they'd rather be employed God knows where instead of our industry. Picturesque community, now surreal. An academic known for isolationist views has released an article condemning commercialized agriculture. The article states that it would ruin the rural idyll. Oh, stay the course. Landowners and rural folk get -3 interest group approval, -5% enactment chance. They get -1 interest group approval, -10% enactment chance. Time to open a fresh barrel of ink. Yeah, I think that. We don't want to radicalize those guys. Shame. Okay, we're finally breaking through the 4 million mark. I mean, GDP per capita, we're actually 2.4. Probably the best. Let's have a look, in fact. We're number 36 worldwide. Right, so if we take the leader as Canada, I mean, number 10 is San Marco. That's northern Italy. Say Netherlands is 3.5. So we're doing all right in terms of GDP per capita, actually pretty well. We do want to grow our GDP even more. We started with 500,000, so almost. So we're May 1906, so that's what, 70 years in, and we're up 8 times, 8.5. But GDP per capita is only up 4 times, and it's been hovering around that level for a long time. Several prominent positivist reform advocates have become entangled in a dispute with the positivist church over their political activities. The orthodox stance of the church is that its members should not be carrying out political activities outside of itself. The church is not the sole arbiter of the cause. Venezuela gets practical political activism for 5 years. Political strength of academics, engineers, and officers. Indeed. Nice. Pass to review, finally. How long does it take? 75 days. Something to happen. What is the chances? Success, 38%. Get advance, stalls, so success. Enactment success indicates the percentage chance that a law will progress to the next phase at the next checkpoint. It is equal to the base success chance plus any effects accumulated during the enactment process. Play for power. Jose Manuel Hernandez, leader of the Petit Bourgeoisie, has made a remarkable play for power in the capital in order to secure a spot for Petit Bourgeoisie within the government. Okay, we've had that before. Not all is fair, -2%. Shall be recognized for this. Sure. Bourgeoisie. Should be recognized for it. The rural folk are unhappy with us. -10% technology spread. These people running the country seem to have all sorts of ideas about what the future should look like. Why should we trust them when they're the ones who made the present what it is? I don't know, you guys are the ones, are you all in favor of getting rid of universal suffrage and going to a technocracy? So just stick with us and trust us. We will propel this country forward. Okay, GDP has stalled again. Vacuum canning. Vacuum canning is a method of sealing cans using a vacuum to keep the contents preserved for longer. Okay. What are we building? Railway in Bolivar. Yeah, we need a bit of infrastructure headroom in Bolivar. Would not hurt. Dissenters break ranks. To outside observers, the industrialists may appear firmly committed to the idea of commercialized agriculture, but behind this facade of unity, discord has long festered. Now, a clique of dissenters have finally had enough and have officially broken with their fellow members over the issue of reform. Splitters, may the devil take them. Oh, we can't afford -15% enactment chance. Offer them the custodianship over a new draft. More 10% enactment time. At least more success. Offer them custodianship. Yeah. Ugh, fine. It's just a few. 10%, so there's like 8 more days per cycle, review cycle, but okay, we're going up again. Will we ever go back to the good days when we had 14? Population-wise, Lower Strata is still struggling, no matter what. I mean, guys, we've made everything as cheap as possible for you. I mean, it cannot be cheaper. You just like to eat grain, so don't give us that. Middling, struggling, affluent. 45,000. Population of upper strata has grown, but their overall affluence level hasn't actually grown. Middle strata, yeah, population has grown. Average standard of living has remained about 20. Lower strata population has grown. Standard of living rose then fell. Interesting. They need higher wages is what they need. 5.1 income. It used to be 6 or so. Hey, they want revolution from the rural folk. That's fine. Can handle a revolution. I hope. Oh yeah, we've had a setback. Let's see. 20 days. Extreme. Preserve homesteading. Population 1.85 million. Politically aligned 500,000. Impoverished. Standard of living in Venezuela is 12.6. Law stalled. Oh! Okay, it doesn't look like we're gonna get commercialized agriculture. As nice as it would be. Oh, it's detailed list. 40% of their income in taxes. How is that possible? All income, all and consumption taxes. Heavy-handedness. Stokio Orbanea mistook an enemy in the petite bourgeoisie. After accusing them with false charges, moderates in petite bourgeoisie defected to the rural folk cause. Stokio Orbanea should stand down. He should. Keep powering on. 70 years into the game now. Okay, oh, what's this? Also wishes to enter into a trade agreement. Type of diplomatic pact between two countries that eliminates tariffs and bureaucracy cost of trade routes between them. Okay. Although, ooh, maybe that was a bad idea. Because the one trade route we have, ooh, that we used to make like lots of revenue from, was with Austria, wasn't it? Right, maybe that will help our... Hang on, for example, in units... Ooh, well, we're now exporting like 20 more units, yeah, so maybe that will make our coffee plantations... Let's see. So we're still making revenue from it. Odd. Okay. Electric telegraph unlocked. Through the use of simple electronic pulses, messages can be rapidly transmitted through codes across vast distances. Officers in a stuffy office can send commands to armies on the far side of the world instantaneously. What hath God wrought? Okay. Law progressed to implementation. Oh, okay. Let's race. There's a race to implement this before the revolution breaks out. Vultures upon a carcass. Opportunistic members of Petit Bourgeoisie have defected to the rural folk. Oh, so be it. Try to coax them back. Minus 5% bureaucracy for 2 years. So be it. Fine. Traitors. So we have a trade agreement with Austria, but that... Again, like that's... Just don't quite understand this game sometimes. Okay, now our tariffs are much lower. I mean, this should be 0 now, right? It eliminates tariffs and bureaucracy cost. So that's where we got the bureaucracy from. We're still making some revenue. Wow. Exporting 67.5. We're importing luxury clothes from Austria and porcelain. Exporting our glass. Yeah, none of these have ultimately turned positive. Although still, they must. Like, for example, this creates an extra 25 demand in coffee for our market, even if it is unprofitable, right? Let's look at our coffee plantations. Yeah, it's close to base rise, so it was a very productive building. Can get more capitalists into here. By replacing various aspects of physical farm labor with machine power, it is possible to increase the efficiency of farming greatly. So we have maize farms, and then livestock ranches can change. Okay, hang on. A fort in a sea of anger. Mobs have surrounded an arsenal in Miranda, threatening to seize the arms and munitions stored within. While the guards are staving off attacks for now, if no relief is sent, then the arsenal will fall to insurrectionists. A relief column could escalate tensions a little, but it is necessary. 66%. Chance of civil war minus 5%. There you go. Perfect. Well, let's go maize farms, for example. Right, and we use tractors. More coal and motors instead of tools. But 5,000 fewer laborers. Alright, so that's 5,000 laborers back in the labor market. And that's it. That's everyone who can use... Yeah, we can use actually electric fences here. That's again fewer laborers required. More demand for electricity. That's nice. Intensive wool gathering. More fabric fertilizer. Less meat. I mean, meat will be expensive, but we can use slaughterhouses, use tools, and produce more meat. Right? Okay. But otherwise, mechanized farming didn't really change. Swedish mass immigration. Okay, we have Swedes coming. Sure. We need more labor. Machines. So tractors for rye, wheat, maize. We only have maize. Mechanized slaughterhouses, intensive wool gathering. So maybe that wasn't like the absolutely best use of our time. It will take us more time for electrical capacitors, and then textile mills will be able to change production methods, and explosives factory. Okay, let's give that a go. The plight of the second sons. With virgin land to award, second sons becoming an increasingly rare commodity in Bolivar. To award to second sons, many farmers engaged in the local livestock ranches hope that a transition to commercialized agriculture will yield the revenues necessary to provide for all their offspring upon death. Or at the very least, leave a single profitable farm that can be sold off for profit. Their concerns make for excellent talking points. 10% enactment success chance. Yep, that's exactly what we need. Push this through. Coffee plantation. More coffee plantations, really? Like... a bit odd. Make them publicly traded. Get more capitalists in our economy. Right, the rebel doctor. A doctor in Zulia has been caught aiding wounded dissidents and revolutionaries. His aid isn't just helping his patients, but it's emboldening the entire rebel movement. Investigate the medical profession in Zulia. Academic populations will become more radical. I don't think plus 2% Venezuela become more radical. I don't think there are a lot of academics in Zulia, so I think that's a better option. Guys, just pass it already. Coffee plantations, railway, construction sector, power plants, sugar. Why are they even employing like 5,000 people when it's unprofitable? It's just unclear to me why this even happens. Right? For example, it's just not needed. I can't even... interesting. I can't even decrease the size of this sugar plantation. Coffee plantation also can't be decreased. Interesting, but the steel mills I can't close down. Wait, I can't. One second. How did this change? I thought yes, can subsidize buildings. I was able to before close down logging camps, and now we cannot do that anymore. Is that because we're technocracy? Why is that? The Great Garment Factory fire. A deadly fire has killed many workers in Miranda, due in part to dangerous working conditions and locked emergency exits. It has been revealed that Jose Manuel Hernandez, a prominent member of the petty bourgeoisie, was the owner of the now scorched factory. Law setback. Oof. This is just the price of progress. Jose Manuel Hernandez must be held responsible for these deaths. The infernal machine. An attempt on the life of the chief executive has killed many, but spared our ruler. A complex device, itself damaged in the attack, is the only trace of the revolutionary left at the site of the attack. Limit his public appearances for a while. This crime is obviously the fault of Tomas Diaz. Yeah, obviously. Oh, okay. He's managed to lower. We can no longer close down industries ourselves. That's interesting. Okay, more capitalists here. Interesting. Chainsaws. Sawmills. Interesting. When did that actually change? Appointed bureaucrats? Command economy law and economic system. Denmark improving relations with us. Okay. Interventionism. It's allowed serfdom and anarchy. This can subsidize all buildings on a government run for railway. 50% private construction allocation. Industry banned. Command economy cooperative ownership laissez-faire. Interesting. Still at 4.4 million. Let's see who's going to be first. 20 days until 40% chance in 15 days that we actually pass this thing. Let's just pay attention. So right now we have homesteading. Farmers and aristocrats own these. Farmers and aristocrats, right? 250 aristocrats. Some more farmers. Got clergymen and laborers. We have now commercialized agriculture. Agriculture is a business like any other, subject to market forces and owned capital. Okay. Which means now they're all publicly traded. So we have aristocrats and capitalists. Interesting. Right, that's interesting. Petite bourgeoisie demand action now. It seems that the petite bourgeoisie are determined to extract concessions from the government during this moment of crisis. If we refuse to bend, they threaten to throw in their lot with the revolution. If they want strength, we can show them that. We can accommodate their demands. Can we? Gain a bit of approval. We need to radicalize them. Okay, rural folk are angry. Otherwise, we're doing fine. Right, it's a contested government, but that's okay. Population is growing. Average standard. Okay, we have a lot of radicals. Number of radicals changed by 125,000. Most important factors were 85,000 from decreased standard of living and 31,000 from discrimination. Whoa! Hang on a second. What's happening here? Trade route exporting sugar. Trade route exporting coffee to the American market. Glass. Lead from the American market. And citrus. Revolution in Dixie. Started a revolution to black plague against the United States of America. Ooh, American liberal revolt. Okay. So this is kind of fine. We just lose exports, right? But what is not fine is that we're not getting the lead that we need. Perhaps we'll compensate that from other places. Bourgeoisie middle managers activated plus 10% bureaucracy. Okay, excellent. Lots of bureaucracy. 4.8% state construction efficiency from the 50% excess bureaucracy. Generation is higher than used. Okay. 100 bureaucracy from 1.8 million people. 115 from institutions. 155 from trade routes. Sure, trade routes that are particularly profitable either. Keep pressing on. Just see what we can do. Nowadays, the trade unions have expressed their concerns about government decisions clearly favoring the interests of industrialists. We need to accept we cannot always please everyone. Okay, we are building power plants in Caracas. American liberal revolt began embargoing United States of America. What is this? This is a republic led by intelligentsia versus a republic led by armed forces, southern planters, and petite bourgeoisie. Okay. What happens there? We're building power plants. What are we going to do with them, though? What are we going to do with these power plants? We can get electric lights, more services, but services are already fairly cheap. Let's make sure we have electricity everywhere. Just we're ready to take advantage of electrical capacitors when they come. How long is that going to be? 3 years. We're running a small deficit. Perhaps it's worth just building more universities. Well, we actually can. Have like five more. 5 times 3. Oh, sorry. It's another 15 innovation. We do have a lot of literacy. The Positivist Church of Venezuela has petitioned to be allowed to construct an additional church in Bolivar. The proposed Temple of Humanity will serve as an important node of positivist activities. There is no harm in it. Let's see, Miranda, Bolivar. GDP is just not growing because our buildings just aren't that productive. Sulfur mines are super productive. 3,000. Produce more sulfur for all of our industries. Not sure all of this even makes sense to me. Everyone should be raising their... I mean, they've been running on excess for ages. Everything is cheap. Why is standard of living not going up? Right, 5 income. Used to be 6 at some point. Here's 13 and 82. Because of taxes. We're now at 2.3 thousand. Why did that change? Goods for government. Okay, government administration we've built, I guess maybe. Universities, ports, subsidies, railways, maize farms, motor industries, interest. Keep powering on. The sporadic leader of the petite bourgeoisie is retired from political life. It's 2.3 thousand. Okay, running a deficit again. We're now Another language in the classroom. Caribbean students sometimes use their native language in Venezuelan schools. Some have called for teachers to penalize the use of these languages, forcing children to speak the official language of Venezuela. Language is part of their heritage. We get minus 10% assimilation, minus 20% radicals from discrimination. No, but school should teach them to speak the proper language. Yeah, we need more assimilation. What can we do with the electricity we now have? Urban centers. Services are already pretty cheap, but we at least employ fewer people, right? If they start employing fewer people, right, to produce the same amount of goods, and that's also good, right? Because these people go into more productive industries, I hope. Let's have a look. Make this electricity plants publicly traded, same as here, for example, publicly traded. There you are. Some electricity is produced. Motors are used. Russia ended their rivalry with the United States of America. Shortage urban center. Shortage of electricity, that will happen. Just wait a little bit. We subsidize this. Should we actually get the electricity going? Again, oil discovered in Bolivar. Again, we're missing labor. That's by far the biggest bottleneck, I guess. Yeah, you need to plan for that from the start, is what I'm thinking. And you need to basically not build everything, because you know you're not going to have enough people to produce. You need to figure out the most productive buildings you have, and then import a lot of other things, like intermediate products, and not try to build out the whole supply chain. I guess that's key. Right, so for example, a lot of the buildings we built, like we should have just never built like dye workshops. I guess in the end, it's better to just... Rubber has been successfully grown in Bolivar. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's better to just import, and only produce even clothes, things like clothes. I feel like it's better to actually... Yeah, it's better to import it and just focus, you know, on like the little labor you have. What is the most productive building you can build for your economy? For example, maybe steel mills. Maybe steel is better produced locally. Whatever it is. Yeah, we kind of built a lot of buildings. Well, the private sector also does that all the time. Just builds random buildings. For example, okay, more sulfur. Like, do we really need more sulfur right now? No, we do not. Make it publicly owned since it is super profitable. I mean, we could use more, but it's not really necessary. Fertilizer plants, super profitable. Let's make that public. That just puts more capitalists, you know, in our population. Steel, expensive here. So open hearth and publicly traded. Right? More steel. For example, synthetic plants, for example. It is just barely profitable, isn't it, right? So, kind of, yeah, so what? We built it, sure, we produce dyes domestically, but we do so in not a very profitable way. So we could have just imported 66 dyes instead and saved ourselves 3.8 thousand of labor, I think. On the other hand, we do have sulfur and fertilizer, so it does pull up, you know, our other industries. Kind of is a good chain, and if we have these dyes, right, that lets our textile mills build a lot of things. And that's clothes. Yeah, so you kind of have to be careful from the start, like how many buildings you construct, it seems to me. Where your workers actually go. So we just kind of go up in GDP and then we just get stuck at the same level. Education is not that important since we don't have a huge population. We don't have that many kind of highly qualified jobs. So I guess it's kind of a waste of bureaucracy, really, to have education, right? Unless you want intelligentsia to have a lot of political strength. Health system is key from the start, right? But private health system doesn't really work because we get +2 standard of living for the upper strata, right? And we get 0.8% mortality per wealth. So not the best to grow the population. Let's see. I'm thinking what to do. Oh, key lessons learned from this playthrough. Okay, we're back to just a tiny deficit. The economy kind of sorts itself out. We did lose some population in wars as well. Industrials petition government. Representative constituents of the industrialist Mario Antonio Matos has issued formal petition to the Venezuelan government to pass poor laws. We'll see what we can do. Okay. Child labor. Student social security, poor laws. No one is against it. That gives us 20% welfare payments, minus 15% political strength when receiving welfare. Okay. We're building electricity in Bolivar as well. The space production with a hydroelectric plant. Publicly traded straight away. Okay. What can we actually produce here that uses electricity? Let's go ahead and get electric street lights, for example, we can do. Covered markets needs steel frame buildings. Okay, that produces a lot of services. Produce a lot of services. What else? Iron mines. Diesel pumps. Okay, that needs oil. Doesn't need electricity. Mines don't really need electricity. Logging camps can do. Electric sawmills, for example. Just flood the market with wood. Publicly traded, can make them. Chainsaws. Okay, that needs oil actually. That will reduce number of laborers. Interesting. An agitator appears. Enact landed voting. Inefficient agriculture. Follow their advice. Yeah, let's have a look. Law progressed to review. Perfect. Poor laws. Remarkably smooth. Okay. One more electricity. Socialism unlocked. A political ideology that encourages common social ownership of the means of production and self-management by workers rather than an upper class. +1 minimum expected standard of living from literacy. 2 max workplace safety office institution investment. Okay. As our industries have grown more and more crucial to the future of the Venezuelan nation, so too has the working class. Disparate workers' movements have begun to unite under the cause of socialism. A storm approaches. Yeah, we got a lot of radicals. Lately is going up, going to kind of remain the same. Loyalists, not so much. Okay, let's keep Attention, we're building... Oh, hang on, we're building another administration. Do we really need it? We do not. We do not need it. Go ahead and build universities instead. Since we are still relying on technology. Power our little nation forward. And keep intelligentsia in power at the same time. Oh, sorry. I'm starting to stutter at speed 5. Poor laws have successfully progressed to the implementation while passing surprisingly smoothly. What is diplomatic play in Gran Colombia? Target Amazonian uprising. What do they want? Public, cooperative. Interesting. Cocky. Target is uncertain. They have nothing. Primary demand, crush Amazonian uprising secession. Oof. Revoke Colombian claims. Interesting. Development. That's fine. We just keep doing our own thing. Right? And we want our budget. Yeah, we can sustain more universities. Let's go ahead and speed 5. German Empire sided with Colombia in a diplomatic play against Amazonian uprising. Should we also side with them? Or we just declare neutrality? Just declare neutrality. It's none of our business. Population is going down. And projected migration minus 1.2%. Very interesting. Not sure I still understand it, guys, even after all this time. It just means there's like lots of unproductive industries, right? That's what it really means. This is productive, so it's... I guess here like weekly balance went down because what? Because we now employed more capitalists, right? More tools. 1910. Houses of faith. The prospect of workhouses, including religious instruction in their work, has allowed the proposal of poor laws to gain favor with the Catholic Church. Religious practices are key to the moral discipline the poor need. 20% enactment success chance. We can get some, give them some political strength just to push this through. I mean, they're pretty far behind. They're marginalized anyway, so okay. And they remain marginalized. They have no strength in our society whatsoever. No political clout, rather. Left enact landed voting, okay. Spectre haunting the world. Will fail if the progress bar is reached 100%. If failed, triggers an event, a world to win. Communist, anarchist, and vanguardist characters will appear much more frequently in Venezuela. Right, if time runs out, triggers the event firebreak. The Venezuelan socialist movements will be weakened for the near future. So, okay, socialist unrest is expected to progress by 2.66 per month. Standard of living under expected. Okay, the rising prevalence of socialist unrest within Venezuela has begun to coalesce into a movement that threatens the rule of the upper classes. The struggle between classes acquired a sharper edge as Venezuelan workers adopt the methods and principles of the socialist movement. Yeah, this looks like that will actually fire off. It's reached 100%. Sponsor positivist philosophy. Progress by 10. We have 9 months. 2% of lower strata. Complete if the progress reached 100%. Followers of the social theory of positivism have begun organizing for political reform in Venezuela. The positivists desire to focus on the future of Venezuela and for the nation to develop and industrialize under the governance of technical experts. Let's sponsor them. We do that again. In the past, okay, we can do that once a year only. Oh, okay, I don't think we're gonna get there. Are we? Yeah, we should have clicked on that every year. Okay, I wasn't paying attention to the government entries, those journal entries. Let's go ahead and pause here, guys. We actually come up on the hour, just a little over the hour, so let's go ahead and pause and make a cut here. And yeah, I hope to see you in the next episode where we keep trying to figure out how to just push our economy just a little bit further. Let's see, maybe we face socialist uprising, it looks like. I think that's actually very likely. So let's see what the future brings. But thanks a lot for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye.